Aloha everyone, I'm Tim Farrell and I'm here with my buddy Eric Tanoy from Greenpoint Nursery, and we are here with the HFNA group. We're going to take a farm or a couple of farm tours today. So we have about 50 floral designers and growers that are going together on this tour, and we're welcoming you, our virtual audience, to be part of this experience so you can really appreciate what goes on behind the scenes to get these beautiful flowers and products to us on the mainland, especially, and in Canada. So, Eric, tell us a little bit about the tours that we're taking today and some of the products that we're going to see.
Okay, today's beautiful day in Hilo, Hawaii. Wish you guys were all here with us, but virtual is just as good. Thanks, Tim. Tim's a great ambassador for Hawaii. We always appreciate him being in Hilo. So first, we're going to go to Komohana Research and Extension Center, where we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation by Gordon Inoue from Puna Flower Powers. It's a brand new formed cooperative of orchid growers. And these orchid growers were from Kapoho that got inundated from the 2018 lava flow. And then we'll go to our nursery, Greenpoint Nurseries, and Neo and myself will give a short tour there. And then we'll go on to Hilo Orchid Farm, who's a beautiful potted orchid grower in Mountain View. Beautiful facility, put on by James Fang and his family. And then we'll finish up with a lunch and a tour of Pacific Floral Exchange. Mr. Grayson Inoue owns Pacific Floral Exchange. And then we'll come back here and get ready for our forum this afternoon.
Great, so we have a full day. These people are really excited, so let's go. Let's load the buses and get out on the farm tours.
Aloha.
Aloha. We're at the Komohana Center here, right outside of Hilo, and Gordon just gave us a fantastic presentation talking about the development of a reclaimed area that he's using to grow orchids. So, Gordon, tell us a little bit more about the center here and what you've done so that our virtual audience can understand what our live audience has just seen.
Okay, this is the Komohana Center of the University of Hawaii College of Agriculture and Human Resources. The main campus is in Manoa on Oahu, and this is an extension center where the extension agents and staff work with agriculture here on the Big Island. So they're very cooperative with us. They support us in so many ways here on the Big Island in terms of the entomologists and their agents and their lab facilities.
Okay. So Gordon, last year I was here and you took me to see your facility, Puna Flower Power, and what you were doing there in a reclaimed area. So that's really what the presentation is about. So tell the virtual audience a summary of what that is and what you're doing there.
Well, the bottom line is that the Big Island was also known as the Orchid Island.
Okay.
And we were famous for the orchids and grown here on the island. And we've been the primary source of orchids for both the cut and the potted plant industry. A major part of our industry was located in Kapoho, which was inundated by the eruption of the Kilauea volcano in 2018. And so again, those affected, we knew from our Hawaii Floriculture Nursery Association that we need to get back into that business again, and we need to help out those farmers that were devastated. Again, when you're devastated like that, your pockets are empty.
Sure.
And so what the organization did is put together a team to look for grants and low-cost emergency loans to be able to build a nursery that can serve the industry in total. And so that's the growth of and the birth of Puna Flower Power.
Wow, and it's a win-win because environmentally speaking, it's a quarry that was done being used, and now you were able to make that piece of land a sustainable part of the flower industry, and it's protected because of how it's kind of sheltered a little bit, but the altitude is great, and you put greenhouses there and turned that area that was once waste area into a very productive part of the Hawaiian floriculture.
The win-win situation for the landowner, returning the land back to agricultural production.
Sure.
Number two, removing the burden of paying for lease for a used part of the quarry to the quarry operator. And number three, a location, as you mentioned, that's protected and great for growing orchids. Not only that, the nursery is totally off-grid. It uses a photovoltaic system for all of its power. It uses catchment water for its irrigation, and is not dependent upon public utilities or in any form or fashion. So it's really we have a lot of pride in what we've constructed there, and that's our goal going forward.
And how many greenhouses do you have there on that premises right now?
We have 3 greenhouses of about half acre each. Our long-term goal is to have up to 8, but we're going to have to grow it organically. What we have to do is optimize the 3 greenhouses right now and be able to grow using normal means. But we think we can do it. It'll take us a little longer, but we think we can get there.
So last year when I visited, you were just brand new setting up the greenhouses. They were actually still drilling into the rock to get some support for the greenhouses. But your staff had bottles coming in with teeny tiny little plants.
Right.
What do those plants look like now? They were probably about an inch high at that time.
Well,
what do they look like now?
That was June of last year. And those are the plants we were putting into plugs right now.
Okay.
Since then, they've been upgraded to 4-inch pots. And we expect some of them to be able to go to market by early 2023.
Wow.
So we're right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. So
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing what those little babies turn into and getting some of those beautiful dendrobiums and bringing them in my shop and sharing them with other fellow florists.
Let's hope we can do that sooner
I'm looking
rather
forward
than
to
later,
it.
Tim.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for educating us in what you do in this industry.
Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you.
In our efforts.
From the Komohana Center, we're going to head out to some farms, but we'll see you all soon.
We could all go in, you guys can all come inside. I just wanted to say aloha, everyone. Aloha. Yeah, welcome to Greenpoint Nursery. So we're so honored to have you today. Okay, let's all come inside. So again, I'm Eric Tano, and at this time I'm serving as president for Greenpoint Nurseries. My dad started the business, this location, this business in the mid-70s. And what his dream was to grow red anthurium here for the American market. Because the American market was really short on red color, and they really wanted red anthurium. So his wholesalers at the time said, Harold, grow more red anthurium. So that's what he did. And since we've been working really a lot with the University of Hawaii, our College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, and under the leadership of Dr. Kamemoto, also the father of anthurium and orchids, but now under Dr. Omori, so many more colors. So as you walk around in the building, you see a lot more color. We grow maybe about 40 types of different cultivars of anthurium now, and not all of them are high volume. Some of them are still low volume because they're really new, but many of them are what we refer to as real bulletproof cultivars for growers. These cultivars, not only are they growing well in the field for us, but they have a strong appreciation for the qualities of desirable traits that the designers or the judges see in these cultivars. So Brenna is asking, if you notice, we have all different sizes on the floor, from very small to very large. So her question is, will the small ones become large? And the quick answer is yes, but some of our varieties actually are miniatures. So some of the varieties actually will stay smaller. Most of the anthurium, as the plants get older, the leaves get bigger, the flowers get bigger as it matures. And so as the leaf matures or the plant matures, the flowers get bigger because the subtending leaf is feeding that flower. So normally you get a leaf first and a flower, and it's about an 8-week cycle. So in 8 weeks, you're gonna get 1 new leaf and 1 new flower. So if your leaf is bigger, then the flower can get bigger. So the challenge for the grower is to try and optimally grow your plant as healthy as possible. Every leaf that comes out, if you're really wanting to evaluate a grower and go into his field and look, every leaf that comes out should be a little bigger. And if you're seeing that the leaf is a little bigger than the previous, and then you see a consistent from small to big as the plant gets bigger, that means the grower is really doing a good job with watering, with feeding, the right amount of sun and light. Normally in growers' perception, we like to grow big flowers because if we grow bigger flowers, we can charge more. We make more money, right? But that's not always true today, what we found, yeah? Working with the designers, the epiphany that we're getting right now is its color, its texture, its stem quality, and how the flower is going to be applied in the work. So what we're looking at always is talking to the designers and working with the breeders, because it's what you guys need is what we should be breeding and growing for. That's one of the reasons why we're doing Wedding Celebrations 22. The industry, the association feels that we have to have more of an interaction between our growers, the breeders, but also the designers, people like yourselves, because we can learn so much from your experiences that we cannot learn from just being a grower. And so thank you for what you guys are contributing to the process. That's what keeps us reinventing ourselves and getting better and better each year. So if there's no other questions, I'm gonna we can kind of walk around, and then I'm gonna give the baton to Neil, and then Neil can show us the field, because I don't want to run out of time. I want to give him more time.
Okay, welcome to Greenpoint Nursery. I think Eric has do the introduction. My name is actually Tong Teng Neo. Neo is my last name. Yeah. So I've worked with Greenpoint for 15 years now. All these are new here. And I know the purple one over there, the raspberry one, that is due to release this year. It doesn't have a name yet. Yeah, doesn't have a name yet. It's all numbers. Yeah. That one is a UH2555. Yeah, we call it by numbers. Yeah. We use cinder over here, and cinder is a good media for us because it doesn't hold water. Everything, the rain comes, we have about 120 inches of rain a year over here in Hilo. Yeah, so all the water will just go down straight to the ground. Yeah, it doesn't hold water because Anthurium doesn't like wet feet. If it's too wet, then you get the roots problem. To get certain colors, it's not just cross one to another one, you get this color. Sometimes you cross 3 to 4 times to get to the color that you desire. Another thing is that what Eric did is we have an advisory group now. Working with Dr. Tessia Mori, is the designers, Hitomi, Lois, Brenna, Sue, yeah, they work together. So from a designer's perspective, they will tell the breeder what is the incoming fashion, what people are looking for, what kind of shape, what kind of texture, that the designer you guys desire. So for Tessie, then she had to crack her head, and then she had to go back to her book, yeah, and flip. Okay, I'm going to take this one, and wait for cross to that one, and then cross to that other one, to get to the desired shape and color that hopefully that people will like.
Let us know what's your favorite color. We're kind of curious. What do you like? What do you see that you like? And then that's going to tell us what we should be growing more of.
More red, eh?
More red. I don't think so, right? I think we get enough red, right, already.
What we're growing down here, what you see is a Mocara variety, is Vandaceous. That's where we grow a lot down in Kapoho before. At one time, I have about maybe 5 acres of different colors. Vandaceous plant. I have orange, blue, red, and Anthera, Kapoho fire. You always like it. Yeah. So we lost everything. So I have to redo again and restart through tissue culture, Mary Crone, to get to what we have right now. Yeah. So all these are planted maybe April 21. All this plant, kikis. So they are producing right now. Yeah. So this is a new thing we are doing now, project. We have to restart our orchid again. And also we are expanding. You can see we have some holes that we're doing dark, and then we're going to build another 4 more houses next week. Starting next week, we're going to put up the pillars, yeah, the poles, and we're going to build 4 more houses. So this plant, as what you see here, this plant, this variety came from Asia. It's a very productive plant. It'll give me about maybe 6 flowers a year. So what good about this plant, this variety, is that it has long stem. Yeah, you can see some of the stem is very long. Yeah, it's about maybe 23 inches, some of them 30 inches long. So that's why we choose this variety. And we have a yellow experiment we're trying. That's also from Asia. And also the Aranda blue, the blue giant, the bigger bloom, that's from Asia too. Yeah, most of the vintages came from Asia. Yeah.
Neo, thank you so much for all the information you shared with us. Neo
welcome.
took us for a tour through the shade houses for the beautiful anthurium, and we saw many of the varieties that they grow here at Greenpoint Nursery. And Neo explained to us the process of from tiny little babies to mature plants, and the fact that we can get anthuriums that are smaller off some of the smaller plants when they're young, and as the plants grow, the flowers get bigger with some varieties. So that was beautiful. And now we're up here in this beautiful orchid house. And how many plants do you have in here?
Right now I have maybe half an acre, about 10,000 plants in here.
10,000 plants, and it's just a sea of beautiful blue macara around us right now. Neo, you told us these plants were about 1.5 years old now?
Yes.
From when they come to you, as you call them, kikis, which is babies?
No, the babies will take about maybe 2 years to grow them.
2 years, okay.
To about this size.
Okay.
So about in a 4-inch pot when we plant them, so this size. And then we transplant them into a bigger pot, a 2-gallon pot. So this is 2 years now from the planting.
So Kiki is in a 4-inch pot, transplanted into this, and then this grows. And how long have they been up here to get to this beautiful stage when they're blooming?
April of last year.
Okay. So April of 2021.
Yeah, 1 year old, a little bit more, 1 year old, one and a half year olds.
Well, what a dedication of love and effort and knowledge. I understand you're one of the orchid experts that comes to us from Thailand, that you know so much about orchids, and that's why Eric has you here. And he's a lucky man to have you here and to share your knowledge and to be able to produce such beautiful flowers for us to have and to bring to our customers. Tell us a little bit more about when people come up here to harvest flowers. Is there a certain stage that they're harvested, or do you wait for the demand? Do you wait for orders to come in? How does that happen?
Right now, the demand for this variety, Mocara, the vintageous type, is huge. The demand is huge. So right now, the flush is going down. Now you see, actually this is not a flush. When you flush, it's a flush.
This is beautiful. It gets better than this?
Yeah, here we have about 5,000 plants. You know, when it comes flush, in a week I can harvest about 700 stems from 5,000 plants.
Wow.
So how we harvest is we look at number of buds here. You can see. Yeah. So maybe about 5 to 6 buds left. That's where I harvest. I harvest them more mature. That's the perfect time to harvest. Okay. I harvest them more mature because I think people like to see more flowers on the stem than just seeing buds, right? Yeah. So I harvest. In this greenhouse here, I can keep them to be more mature. Maybe so something like that. Okay. Yeah.
What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just a few buds. But look how many flowers. Yeah. This is incredible. Yeah. I also noticed in the bunches of the Mocara that were ready to go to customers out there, most times we see Dendrobium Mocara in bunches. They're very flat, long. Your bunches are about this big around because the flowers completely encircle the stem. Yes. The sun seems to hit them from all angles, and the blooms are just, every bloom is appreciated with the space that's here. So you guys do a fabulous job.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for your expertise. Thanks for sharing with us your knowledge, and it really does help me appreciate your product better. So
thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Aloha from the Orchid Greenhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is G3, or we call greenhouse number 3. This is pretty much our holding area. So as we're harvesting things from other greenhouses, we bring things down here, which are pretty much ready to sell, so that when we're packing things, we don't have to go to all the different greenhouses for each order. So we kind of bring things down here. You can see everything here will be in spike. Usually we try to sell things around 3 to 4 weeks out from blooming. That gives our customers time to sell the plants, gives them a longer shelf life, and it also reduces the damage to the plants when we're shipping them. When we ship them in spike before they bud or flower, there's less chance of damage to the plant. So, like I said, we're as a wholesaler, we're shipping, you know, quantity rather than, like, we're not really waiting to see how the flowers will open. We're gonna ship out a couple hundred per variety to certain customers, and then they'll finish it off. We keep a couple here for, you know, we do have a couple of these customers that prefer open, so more local customers. So we do keep some on the side to finishing. Mostly Oncidium intergenerics on this side, and then over here we'll have some callias and some species, and then on the corners you'll see basically some multifloral paths and some species of paths on this side. So we got like Rothschildianums, Loweis, you know, different kinds of crosses like that. So lady slipper orchids, if you're familiar with that. Again, most of them will just be in blooming size plants without spiking or buds. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So as you see, Nestor, he's getting some orders ready now. We'll place them all along these benches, and then we'll start packing them up on Sunday for shipment on Monday through Wednesday. So this is kind of like our holding area before everything goes into the warehouse. You can see from all of our greenhouses are kind of temperature controlled or climate controlled. We have shades that open and close if there's too much sun, fans and vents that open and close as well. And then of course, if it gets too hot, we'll mist it down to also bring the temperature down as needed. Everything's controlled by computers. There's still some manual, you know, action. We still have to tell things what to do, how to do it sometimes, but it's kind of automated, pretty automated for the most part. And we have some similar systems in the other greenhouses, but you'll see some different irrigation systems in the newer ones as well. You might have noticed we don't really have any cut flower types, so everything we sell and grow here is pot plants. So we ship everything out live. Over here we'll have what's called like kind of like the first stage of plants from when we get them from the lab in what's called flasks, which are grown in like an agar medium, just to generate propagation and get some roots. We'll put them in these oasis cubes, which are kind of like a foam. We'll put it in here, and they'll stay in this stage for almost a year, sometimes less, until they develop a strong root system. And then from we'll pot them into either 2, 3, or 4-inch pots. We primarily pot everything in moss and bark. For pretty much like our species and our cattleyas, we'll do bark, and most of our Oncidiums and paths will do bark too. But most of our Oncidiums will do all moss. So we used to do a lot more bark before in the past, but we've kind of swapped over to moss now because it takes less water. With bark, you have to water it almost every day sometimes. With moss, we can get away with twice a week. So. Majority of our water is all catchment based, so we collect the water from 3 different greenhouses, and it collects it all into our holding tanks over there. At which point we have it run it through a filtration system, which goes into our holding tank, and then another filtration system again before it comes out to the plants. So the water that we use is very, very clean. We already have pretty clean rainwater as it is here with the amount of pollution that we don't have. So it's really healthy for the plants. And we notice with the cleaner water that we have, the easier it is for the plants to absorb what we're putting into the water. It doesn't have any extra additives into it, so.
To filter the water?
Yes, yeah.
What are you filtering out then?
Just all kinds of, we have like a micron filter. It goes through like a bunch of different, I had a UV filter, pretty much whatever we can filter out of it. And also there's, you can have like pests and stuff that go into water, and then other spores from other like ferns and other you know, things that you don't want in there. From here, pretty much everything here will be cloned. So anything we'll take cuts, some shoots, and we'll send that to the lab, which they'll be maricloned. Nothing here will really be seeded. What you saw in the other greenhouses, you'll see seed pods and stuff like that. But here, pretty much is all cloning, which is, you know, it's convenient when they can do it right, because you can get like 10,000 plants or 50,000 plants, whatever you need. I didn't really mention it earlier. You can see, like in the first greenhouse that we went through, we had you saw those poles going up. In these last 3, we have boom sprayers for our irrigation systems. So down at the end, it'll come through and hit up a whole bay at once. You can move the benches around a little bit if you need to. Just don't crush Ronnie down there.
What a fabulous tour through Hilo Orchid Farm. I'm here with Aubrey Hansen, and Aubrey was able to talk to our guests that were here in person about the cycles of growing orchids and the different varieties that were here. But Aubrey, can you share with our virtual audience just maybe a summary of what we did while we were here?
Sure. Here at Hilo Orchid Farm, we are a wholesale nursery, and we also breed plants. So we'll bring things in from the very beginning of the stage, from seedlings or cloning, or different forms of propagation, and we'll actually grow our plants here before going to other nurseries. So everything that we send out of here will not be in flower. They'll all just be kind of in spike or less, or non-blooming, and our final customers will finish them before getting to the end customer.
That's great. So the spikes are already formed. So once the buds are set, the customers don't have any trouble allowing them to open and enjoy maybe the most longevity out of the beautiful blooms that come off the plants.
Correct. It gives our customers a longer shelf life, has less damage in the shipping process, and it's just, we're able to sell as a wholesaler pretty much like a mass amount of plants rather than one or two. So
I know I probably took 100 pictures myself up here. There are so many beautiful varieties, things I've never seen before, things that I couldn't even identify because they were probably hybrids between other plants. But how many different species, we'll say, of orchids do you think you have here?
That varies. That'll change month to month as we get new flaskins, but it's safe to say probably several hundred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And is there a certain plant that's your favorite or we have the most demand for right now?
Oh, that's tough to say. I don't have a favorite just yet.
Like children, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so many here. But thank you for explaining all that to us. And I know we're going to see some great video and pictures of all the beautiful things we saw here. But this was a treat for all of us floral designers. We're like kids in the candy shop seeing this. And we're so glad to have this relationship with you as nurserymen to be able to speak to you about what we need. And
Absolutely.
I know that we can talk about things you can recommend to us.
Right.
So we can make our work more beautiful.
And things that are working well for you, it's good for us to know so that we can continue to grow them or start growing them if something we don't have yet.
We'll keep the conversations going.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Aubrey, thank you so much. Aloha.
Thursday was a good day for us to have lunch here because the floor is clear. On Mondays, Sundays and Mondays, this whole area here is covered with flowers that have been harvested over the weekend and that are being packed and shipped. And again, by Thursday and Friday, most of them are all gone. One of the most common questions our salespeople get is, what's new and different this week? So we're always querying the growers as to what's new and what's happening. Our inventory moves here too fast for us to use an inventory control system. So if you look on that side, you'll see those windows. We have the salespeople sitting at those windows with their computers. When a customer calls, they look out on the floor, see what's untagged, and they know what they can sell, at least roughly, and again, by color and everything else, and by size. Normally during the week, the smallest flowers on this side, the biggest flowers are on this side, and they're lined up by color. So someone looking over the floor can tell you, on the phone can tell a customer, oh yes, we have some pinks and we have some reds, we've got some two purples, or whatever the case might be. It's very similar to a Greenpoint where all the salespeople are looking out on the floor as to what they have to sell. Greenpoint Nurseries and Pacific Floral Exchange, to a large extent, are competitors. But we're friendly competitors. Our our families have been involved in agriculture here in Hawaii for multi-generations. My father and Eric's father were golfing buddies, and they've known each other forever. They've cooperated yet competed successfully, and we do the same today too. You know, we always try to be better than the other guy, but it's a hard challenge all the time between the companies. But it's a friendly competition, and hopefully the net result is a better product for all of you in the field because of the competition and the quality demand. Loading dock here is where our trucks come in from the field. We unload the flowers here. They get graded here on the benches, sorted by size. Packing is done from Sunday through Friday. Friday we close by noon, and there's very little going out on Friday. You know, this webinar is this event here this week is subsidized by promotional efforts by our organization as well as by the industry. So it's important that we make inroads and success in this. So like I say, these are some of our plans right now, and we're very excited about it.
So Gordon, we began the day with you, and now we're ending the day with you. And Gordon Chenoy and I are here at one of his family's business, his brother Grayson's business,
yes,
which is Pacific Floral Exchange. And this is a traditional wholesaler on the island of Hawaii, right outside of Hilo. And you have farms throughout the island that are purchased, or they sell the products to you.
Well, Pacific Floral Exchange has its own farms at 20 acres of production by itself.
Oh, they're your farms, okay.
Yes. So my brother Grayson is the owner and president of the company, and he sends his regrets for not being present, but he said, please stand in for me, so I'm doing the best I can.
Nothing better than your brother, that's great.
Yeah. But in addition to the 20 acres of production, Pacific Floral Exchange also purchases from about 40 some odd different growers of all the other kinds of products: anthurium, tropical foliage, heliconia, birds of paradise, orchids, and everything else, and combine them with their sales of anthurium and make it available to the greater market of flower distributors.
Wonderful. And Gordon was telling us that all these farms bring their products in this side of the building. They come out on the floor, they're processed, the salespeople can see what's available to them. Everything is eaten up real fast, I'm sure, because there's such a demand for the beautiful product. Packed up and then sent out on trucks through FedEx to the airports and reach all of us in different parts of the United States. So it's great to see a traditional wholesaler here on the island of Hawaii. Thank you so much for being our host for this beautiful lunch that we had. And we've had a great day, and love that you're beginning the day and ending the day with us. So
well, thank you, Tim. Thanks for being here and being our host.
Always good to talk to you.
Yep.
And we're going to go back and finish up the conference. Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo.